changing it.
Mm.
So yeah.
Well, we're live.
Oh,
All right.
Yes, it happens just like that. Just like
mm,
that. Um, I'm just checking to make sure all of the sources are hitting what they're supposed to be hitting, which they do seem to be. And so, yeah, for our pre show topic, you wanted to talk about the Steam Deck, Jamie.
I
So,
did.
so go ahead and lead us into, why you're all about this.
Right, so originally I was always on the fence with the Steam Deck. I liked the idea of it, but I never thought I'd have a use case for it. Because like I have a PC, I have a PlayStation 5, like I've got a decent setup so I can pretty much play anything I want. So that I love the idea of it because I'm a tech nerd. I love when new technology comes out and I wanted to play around with it, but I thought I'm ultimately not going to use it. Like if we get one, this is just going to be something my wife's going to use. So
Mm-hmm.
we got one for Christmas. We thought, well, it's the holiday, so we'll get one. And it completely flipped my impressions with it completely. Like it is my most favorite piece of tech that I currently own because it just runs everything so well and you can do so much with it. I've actually found that I'm playing more games now that I've got the Steam Deck than I was before because it's just so easy to just pick it up and play something. Like I do 40 hours a week at a desk, so to sit back on the PC and turn on a game, it's just I've been sat in this chair all day. I don't really want to sit here, so there's that. And then like the PS5's great, but if we go in the living room, like the wife wants to watch a film or something, with the Steam Deck, you can just pick it up and play anywhere. Like, and I found that the majority of my time playing it has been in bed. Like, I can just go to bed, hold the Steam Deck, and I can play pretty much any AAA game on it. Like this thing can run everything. Like it's insane. Like you can run Red Dead Redemption 2 at a solid 40 frames. Like that's just crazy to me in a handheld device. So I've got this huge backlog of games that I've just never had the time to get through, and I'm finally now finding the time to get through all these games because of the opportunity the deck gives you to play them. Like in those spare 20 minutes, when
Hmm.
you haven't got time to actually sit down and put the investment into a game, like for 20 minutes, by the time I log onto my PC, I boot the game up, the 20 minutes is going to be gone. But you can just pick this up and just play it whenever you feel like it. You can just put it into touch the button and put it into sleep mode and pick it up and go back right where you left off. It's just super convenient. And I can just take it anywhere. Like I could take it to work with me and play it on my lunch break. I can take it with me when we have to go to the supermarket. The wife will go get the shop, and I'll just sit in the car for an hour and play whatever I want. Like it's just so freeing to just be able to play what these games that are usually a home experience and take them wherever you want.
Hmm.
And I really really like that.
Well, I mean, I I don't know the numbers, but I hope it's doing well. Like, beyond the vocal minority of users who all sound like you. I personally think it's a niche product.
You really
That
think so?
it's a fantastic product. Don't get me wrong. But it won't really make waves in the significant markets that it needs to because it's great at everything but has no name in any one market, and that'll keep it from being a casual consumer item. So it's not a big enough handheld, or it's not a big enough handheld to hope to get a market share away from Nintendo. It should. It should definitely get more market share than Nintendo, but it's not Nintendo. So let's, outside of the few people who may jump over and try to do it maybe because they heard of emulation. Okay, you'll have some of them, but you're not taking away Nintendo's market. Then you go into the more casual user who would do something like an iPad or, um, yeah, really like an iPad that would do like the mobile gaming aspect. Should they have a bigger place in the market when that comes into play? Yeah, but they're probably not going to. So I just and then you think of like you're saying how it plays everything. Well, we already know because there's a new report every day that it doesn't play everything. Like it has
Oh,
trouble playing quite a lot.
everything that I've attempted to play on it,
Okay.
it runs. Like I haven't come to an issue yet where I'm like, oh well, I can't play this game.
Yeah.
Like, and I've tried just under 40 games on it, and every single game runs between 40 and 60 frames.
Okay. So
So,
let's take it into the power of it. The power of it is impressive. But I think it was 2 weeks ago, the devs came out and said that if there's a Steam Deck 2, then it won't be more powerful.
mhm. Yeah,
They won't
if
change
they
anything about the power, I'm guessing, because of GPU and processor pricing at this point, which would push it into a
yeah,
PC numbers that you just can't ask for what it
yeah, like
is.
what they would change would be the screen. So they'd probably
Yeah.
try a 1080 screen in there as opposed to the 800p that it has, and try and improve the battery life because that's one of my biggest gripes of it is, you're getting about an hour and 20
Yeah.
out of this thing before you're gonna have to charge it again.
So, like I said, for me, I hope nothing but the best for it because I like the technology. I have no use for it, but I like that it exists, and I agree with your enthusiasm. But with all that said, it's relegated to its current demographic, which is gaming enthusiast, like
Mm.
and mostly PC gaming enthusiast.
Yeah, tech enthusiasts. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
I
The
won't
only
even
reason
say
I was interested.
I mean, I wouldn't even go as far as to say tech enthusiast, but
Really,
I,
especially like with like
it's impressive.
you
It's
can put Windows
impressive.
on this thing. Like you can dual boot it. Like you can
Yeah,
do
but think of
so
who's
much with
going to
it.
buy that to actually do that and not just use their computer. Like that's what I'm talking about. It's like it's great at all these things, but the more in depth you get into any one of them, it immediately starts to break down. So it's relegated to trying to fit into a bunch of different markets that already have brand names that run those markets. And while that maybe they don't have to be a industry leader, nor do I think if you go into handhelds you're really trying to be. And I want nothing but for it to succeed and to replace anything Nintendo does, but it's stuck in my mind, it's going to be stuck in a place where it's basically trying to fight for relevance in a bunch of markets that already have their top names and already have their user bases that the casual consumer isn't going to switch over to a Steam Deck for it. That's that's
I
just the
mean,
way I see it.
like I get your points, but it depends on the person. Like if you are a casual gamer, but you know enough about tech to know the difference. Like, let's just say you was just a casual person, but you knew enough about tech, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you were thinking of buying a Switch for the portability aspect of it. You didn't really care
Yeah.
about Mario or Zelda or whatever. And you found out what the Steam Deck was and what that can do. Like, in my opinion, anybody who understands the technology would be very unwise to buy a Nintendo Switch over the Steam Deck. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not gonna topple the
Well,
Switch and like
let's
it's
hold
not
up.
gonna
Let's
even
stop right
affect that.
there. But let's stop right there. Jin, what did you say when we first brought up this topic as something we were going to be talking about?
I was like, I never heard of this.
Never heard of it. So the thing is would that person have to be crazy, or would they just already have to have their opinion swayed as to what they're looking for? That goes back to the problem I'm talking about. Like, I don't know, Jen. You've heard us go at it, and we're about to go into the podcast in a minute or two here. You got anything you want to add to it?
Um, Personally, for me, like the handheld concept of it, I probably would have loved like many years back with the whole PS Vita and all this. I would have loved the Steam Deck, but for now, I just for my personal position, I just wouldn't use it because I'm like home all the time. So I guess it really depends on what you do in your life. It does make sense where you're coming from, where he has to work all the time, and he's like, I don't have time to hop on PC, so I just go ahead and use this handheld that can play Steam games and stuff. But for me, I'm home, so it's like I'm just gonna use the computer because it's just way more powerful stuff like that. So I guess it depends where you at. I probably would use that over using a phone. I know the mobile. Places like they have like crazy amounts of people who play mobile games, and it's getting up there in terms of graphics and stuff. But I probably still would use a Steam Deck over playing on my mobile device. So
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
I guess it really just depends. There is the Nintendo Switch that all my nephews, and nieces have. So I don't know. It's really hard to say. I do agree that it might not even really have like a place for it, just because of the fact that I literally never heard of the Steam Deck, and Nintendo Switch just, I don't know. It just seemed like it's one of those things where it kind of took advantage of the fact that there was that massive gap after the PS Vita, and it was really nothing. And then Nintendo Switch like, hey, we came in, take that market, and it's kind of like the first. What's the rule they say? Like, the first mover or whatever. In that sense,
Mm.
Mm.
yeah.
So,
I think
oh,
I'd say go on.
well, I had a question. Bad Dream says, "What makes something niche in your mind, Mighty?" What makes something niche to me is something that it's it's something that's seen as, or it's something that has value, but it only seems to have value to a specific group of people and has not broken through to the mainstream yet. Now, a lot of people speak about things they love, and because they love it, they don't see hell. Now that come to think of it, as we start this podcast, it might even be us on this, but a lot of people come to speak about things they love, and because of their amount of love for it, they're like, there's no way that people don't recognize how great this is. But it's because you say that and have to ponder that lets you know that it's niche. Like, there's tons of things that we've all sworn by as like the greatest thing ever. And it just doesn't do well. It's not around for very long. And it's because while we were a loud minority, or we were a loud minority that thought we were a majority, we were just a minority and not enough to carry. So that's how I see a niche thing. Um, and yeah, dreams is definitely a niche at this time. The problem is it could be
100%.
more, but we'll get into that
Yeah.
after after the intro. So be right back. Yes, we are going to stick with the new intro because it's shorter. And if we continue to do the audio, I figure it makes a better transition than having to
Mm.
cut out the whole long
Yeah,
intro.
yeah.
We'll stick with it for now. So, anyway, so welcome everybody. It is the 101st
Mm.
episode of the Made in Dreams podcast. I'm your host, Mighty Vicious, as always, here with my boy Jamie James, the Emperor. He who goes thump in the night. Anyway, so today we are joined by our special guest, Project Genesis, Gen for short. How you doing, my guy?
Doing good, man. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. I'm happy to have you here. So, look, we're going to go ahead and jump right into this. Uh, just figure out a little bit of who you are. Tell us your background, your origin story, how you got the cape and the mask, and how you started fighting crime at night. Go ahead and tell us who you are about
Oh,
yourself.
it really all began, you know what I'm saying? I was in the state of Connecticut. I was born, and as growing up, I always had this urge to fight for crime, seeing all the wrong things that was happening in the world. So, one day I'm walking down the street, I see an old man getting beat up, and I'm like, nah, this isn't right. So I reach into my backpack, which just suddenly had like a cape and a mask, and there began Project Genesis.
I love it. I love
So good.
it.
It's so good.
I love it. So let's go past the fighting crime, or right before the fighting crime and into the you were born part, and tell us, like, do you want to give us your background, like what you do? Is there a day job, or how you came to dreams?
Oh yeah. So, um, I've always wanted to like, make YouTube videos of like games that I'm really am passionate about. It's been like I've been doing YouTube for probably about 5, 6 years and
Mm.
probably more, but I've always like had this. urge to make content. Like it all started with zombies, Call of Duty Zombies, which is
Mm.
where some people came and followed me. And then I went over to, I tried Fortnite, and I was just like, I was at that point where I was just burnt out. I think a lot of people can relate. Fortnite kind of did some damage in terms of
Yeah.
like your love for gaming. Cause I don't know, like it just did that. So I was just in that gap where I was like, what do I want to play? Like I don't know what I want to play. And then I was literally just watching um, it was the show that they do usually in summer, right, where they talk about like games and stuff. I forgot the name of it.
Summer Game Fest.
No, it wasn't that. It was
E3.
E3. Yep, it was E3. They talked about dreams, and they were saying it was the people who made Little Big Planet. I'm like, oh wait a minute, I love Little Big
Mm-hmm.
Planet. I did play that, right? There was a time when I was growing up. I was younger. I played that. And I love the concept of it, and I was like, oh man, what if it was like 3D and all these different things, and it would basically saying that dreams was that, and I'm like, hold up, this might be it, right? Because the more I looked at it, the more I was like, wait a second, I do love this concept of gaming. Like Little Planet Minecraft was actually the first game I've ever tried to make videos on ever. But it was literally for like one time, and I'm like, nah, this is not gonna work. Because I had to use like a bandy cam, and I'm like, this is not gonna work.
Oh boy, Bandicam days. Wow.
Yeah, it was yeah. So I just stopped immediately. This is terrible. Then I went into zombies. So yeah. So when I saw Dreams, I'm like, this is incredible. Like it wasn't even a thing of like it literally just clicked for me. I'm like, this is amazing,
Mm.
right? And I just had this overwhelming passion for it, and I started to make videos about it. I got lucky. Like I know people were waiting for a good years for this thing to release. So
Mm.
I got lucky in being able to talk about it. And then next year they dropped the beta in early access. Um, so yeah, that's how it happened. I was just passionate about it, and I saw Dreams, and I just fell in love with it, the concept of it, and that's how I started making videos of Dreams.
Indeed.
All right.
So, I mean, you wanted to come on to speak specifically about something that you're putting on. So I want to give you time to do that. Uh, Tell us a little bit about the Dreams competition that you have going.
Yeah. So the competition that we have is a 10,000 prize pool competition for the topic or subject being about character animations, or action character animations. And the reason why I created this prize for this is because I'm super passionate about it. Like if people remember watching me, I used to always talk about character animation. In fact, the first time that I actually really wanted to get into creating in Dreams was character animation, because there was a creator, a Japanese creator. I can't pronounce the name, but it's Tusunk. I can't pronounce it. I'm not even gonna try. But it was a Japanese creator that was making a sort of Devil May Cry type of character, and I
Mm.
literally was like, why don't we see more of this? Like I kid you not, right? I know he came from Little Planet, whatnot, but still, I kid you not. In the Dreams beta, he was making still to this day the best animated for like characters I've seen, and that was in the Dreams beta. He literally that was like his first ever thing, and I'm just like, wow, this is incredible. So I was just really just shocked, and then there was other creators who were creating incredible stuff. So like it was more like I like the genre of that, but also how polished it was. Like the
Yeah.
polish for it was incredible. So much so that I actually made a video called Japanese Creators Are Insane, right? And that video, a lot of people were like absolute just mind blown at the talent that was just there. And it just inspired me to want to get into it, to want to look more at like character animated levels. And I just really had this passion for it. So I was like, okay, I'm doing these jams. Why not make this as interesting as possible by having this prize? Because obviously, if Dreams just came out, I could probably get away with just saying, hey, there's a jam, and people probably would just do it just because they have this overwhelming excitement for it,
Yeah.
how the hype
Mm.
was. But
Mm.
it's like right now, Dreams is looked at as anyone that's playing Dreams now is literally doing it as a hobby. Like they love Dreams. Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like, why would I spend my time to make what you're asking for? Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
where if I make it to where it's like something is like, okay, this is someone I might now consider it just because there's a little interest there. So that's the reason why I did it like that. So someone asked me, was saying, what's your gain from this? Like, some people have to have that devil's advocate. It's like, what do you gain from this? Why do you do this? And for me, it is because one, I am trying to, give back and just, do that for the community because I do love the dreams community, which is why I'm still like trying to be involved in it. But it's also I genuinely want to see if people actually tried, could they make an incredibly animated character, slash game or level, whatever it is, if they really tried. So I'm genuinely curious. So that's really my game for this is can this be done? Right. So that's just something I'm really passionate about. I'm always lurking in the, Discord, Twitter, seeing what people do. So that's kind of my whole reasoning for that.
Well, I for one would say that yes, people can, but then we get into the conversations of why they don't feel like they should in dreams. But we'll go into that a little bit later. But I for one, because I have seen the comments around the jam and you know not always positive. But I like to see that you want to give back to the community to push it, to push what people see dreams as and what can be created in it. So I one up to you on that. I think it's good for the community.
I do.
Um,
I think it's great that you're willing to put up such a significant amount as well. Like, I've seen jams done before. Some of them had some money attached to it, but nothing like this. So like, it's a good incentive, and it's people deserve paying for their time, especially if you're trying to make something to the caliber of what you're asking for. So yeah, I think it's great.
yeah, absolutely. So, and you've done you like you had mentioned, you've done other jams before, and your last winners were piece of craft, and
Ifis, Saku's
Ty-
Mine, and Elka Gaming.
Hmm.
yeah, there you
Yeah.
go, there you go. Yeah, so I guess overall, because you said what you're doing this for, but
Mhm.
what's your end game for these jams? Like, do you just hope to see someone create something that puts dreams on the map? Or is there something that you're specifically shooting for with these jams that you just haven't spoken about yet?
So for me, I am honestly hoping that Media Molecule or Sony is like, huh, this is a cool idea. And then they're like, they make their own, right? To make it like an official thing. That's what I'm really hoping for. I'm not sure if it's how true this is, but I believe in Little Planet they had something where they had like competitions and things like that. But maybe that could just be the impies or whatnot. But I don't know. I wanted to make it to where like people just have incentive because if like I said, if Dreams was really like have that hype that people had, I wouldn't have to even do this at all whatsoever, right? So
Yeah.
this is kind of my way that I can think of to kind of incentivize that. So, I could argue that, Meteor could come up with an idea to do that that doesn't even need to do that, but it will still bring that hype because it is now an official thing. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And I just like the concept of seeing people just excited to create in dreams. You know what I mean? That hype I can't put my finger on it, man, but that hype of dreams releasing was one of the best feelings I've had for so many different games because like there was just insane amount of just passion and just content just being dropped that I didn't even know what to do. I was just like, oh my god, it's this, that's that. The idea of just not knowing. Um, so that's kind of my thing with that. Is really is something that I just like. I'm just curious. It's not really any because I can never really gain anything from doing this. Like what I'm saying, like um there's nothing that I could do in doing this that I can really return in that. So it's just more like I can go to different streamers and then donate that, but I wanted to make it just interesting. So that's
Yeah.
really the way I look at it. It's like I can just do it in a way that's like, okay, here's a streamer I like, here's another streamer. But I kind of want to do it where like the people who create that I've made videos for, where I constantly just do nothing but play these creations. Instead of me saying, oh, we need this, it's kind of me saying, hey, okay, how about I just give back it really is just giving back in a way like that. It's not something that you have to. No one is obligated to do so, but it's just a fun way to give back while still getting that something of I genuinely want to see that that thing which is character animations and seeing people's creativity and people passionate about it, talking about it, all these different things.
And I'm guessing that, like you said, is why you went into like your 3 tier system where, overall it's a $10,000 prize, but it's broken into a first, second, and third
Yep,
place. And that allows you to stretch it out to give it, more enthusiasm to more people.
exactly.
Indeed. So I guess, with that, I guess we'll get into the meat and potatoes.
Mm.
Is there anything else you want to tell the people regarding specifically the competitions?
I am gonna actually, I'm gonna make a separate video, kind of like just giving more tips about that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to go in depth with that, but just for right now, just anyone who's watching, just kind of just keep grinding, have fun, and I'm definitely lurking. I can't wait to see what we make.
So
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm I know I'm gonna make somebody mad, but but I have to.
You always do.
Yeah, I know. So um can I just say that I enjoy that this jam isn't horror based. I would just like to throw that out there.
I did do 2 horror gems back to back.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's nice
Yes.
to add a little difference in the mix.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just like I said, not throw shade at anybody or anyone's style or creation preference or anything like that. But especially because the horror genre has been so good for Dreams
Right.
and a bunch of different creators. But I do I do enjoy seeing more than that, which has become prevalent, which isn't a problem. It's just, it's kind of like Hollywood. You make a comedy or you make a horror movie because they're the cheapest to make. Doesn't that says nothing to the quality. I'm not talking trash on anybody. I'm just saying, like, horror is something that a lot of people gravitate towards, but it's something that I personally don't have that eagerness to see more of.
Mm.
So, like, seeing it focus on like action, I think is a really cool. It's a cool theme to go with, if you will, genre, if you will, because I think that allows people to do a lot more without having to meet certain aesthetics, if you get what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
can
yeah,
contain the aesthetic of horror and still be action, but if it's like a horror theme, then it kind of overpowers the rest of it in my
yeah.
mind
Mm.
So
That's true.
yeah. Um, Let me see here. I'm looking because chat is definitely
Yeah, it's on
flying here.
fire today.
So entropy. Yeah, entropy says horror is fine, but it is certainly never was my jam.
Yeah.
I butchered that all out of order, but I got the point across. Anyway, so one of the things I found interesting because I had seen your YouTube before asking for backup stuff. Basically, before when we were initially planning to have you on. And one of the first things that I noticed was that one of your main descriptors in your media, whether it be, Twitter or YouTube, was the fact that, you consider yourself to, like, you say you love indie games. And I wanted to ask if you consider Dreams to be an indie game.
Ooh.
So I think Dreams is like an indie game hub in the way I look at it.
Hmm.
I feel like it's the like the world of indie games. That's how I kind of structure my channel is playing indie games, but the whole main core of where I find these indie games is Dreams.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And the reason I ask this is because we're all aware of the conversations happening around the community currently. And when I thought of this question to ask you, I started thinking to myself, because I always tell people how, like, Media Molecule, they're growing in numbers right now, but they had like a 40-person team when this all started. And maybe Dreams is an indie game. It's just attached to Sony, so everyone envisions it being bigger and having more pieces than it actually has.
No.
Which the only reason I say this, I ask, is because there are a lot of things that when you think of like, um, there are a lot of things being asked about. I've already seen it come up in the chat a few times.
Yeah.
The things that people want from Dreams. And I'm wondering if they would expect it already if it weren't a company that's a first person studio with Sony. Because when you think of Sony Studios, do you think indie?
No.
Nope.
But the actual but the actual company itself, it's not Guerrilla.
No. But it's never intended to be, though. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
but
Like, it's not
but
like it's
that
trying to be.
but that translates into a speed thing, which brings me back to my question. You ask a team of 3,000 to get to make changes, it's gonna happen a lot faster than a team of, I think they've doubled now. But at the beginning, when people were like, "Hey, when is all this stuff coming?" It's like, if it was a bigger team, I would have expected, if it was Activision working on the
Yeah.
next Call of Duty, yeah, I expect there to be some stuff because they have over 3,000 people working on one game. But it just made me think: is it just that Dreams in its core, is it an indie game, and do people need to lighten up a little bit? And my answer would surprise you, but I wanted to ask y'all. So Genesis, after all that
Yeah.
I just vomited out, what do you think?
I think, honestly speaking, so your question is like, should we like kind of give them a break for kind of being like a small studio with, a smaller studio than, for example, Gorilla?
Yeah, I mean, just a smaller studio. Yes, ultimately, I would say yes. If I had to add more onto that, it would be: does our perception of how much we love what they've done affect the reality of the size of the studio we're actually talking about? And if
Um,
it weren't a part of the PlayStation umbrella, which is full of titans, to be honest, is it possible that it's just being a little unfair? Now, I say this to you as a person who won't go into this today, but as a person who, when people first started getting mad about stuff with Dreams, I was like, give them time. Like, it was a group of 40 people. Like, that's facts. And so what they did and how long it took to make the game is indicative of not having a huge team. But at the same time, I understand the frustrations that are coming out from people, but I just wanted to know if the perception of Media Molecule being a Sony first, studio game has affected how much patience people have with what they're asking for.
so for me, I think one of the biggest things really is just communication. Honestly, that's my biggest thing. I mean, you could take as long as you need. It's just one of those things for me. So my first thing was like multiplayer, right? When I was researching, about Dreams, they were like, yeah, multiplayer is gonna be out, on launch, right? And then it was like, okay, multiplayer is gonna be out shortly after launch, and that's kind of what they kind of stopped at. That was just like that was it. So when you kind of hear that, you think, oh, this is cool, man. Here we go, Little Big Planet again, all over, but better with multiplayer. It kind of has this thing where it's like, oh man, this is gonna have it. And then you get it, and then 3 years later, there's still no multiplayer. So it's almost, I'm not gonna say that's obviously the intention. It almost seemed like, oh, this is kind of false advertising. Like I assume we're gonna have multiplayer. So I wouldn't go to be like, oh, I hate you and all these different things, but I can still like, I can understand people's frustration
Yeah.
as to why they're like, okay, where's the multiplayer, right? Now the whole thing with PC has never really been confirmed. So whenever I bring it up, it's just more things like, I just see Dreams could have that, but I don't want to go down that road just yet. But more focused on multiplayer. So for me, multiplayer, it being something that was promised, it kind of just feels like, wow, why don't we at the very least have communication? Like, hey guys, we realize that this has taken a lot more time to realize to actually create this. So here's what's going on and all these different things. It's a lot better than absolute silence, right? To the point where it's almost like we're not even going to get multiplayer at all, right? So that's how I kind of feel personally. It's just the communication lacking in that regard, and not necessarily that we want it now. Like just give us the thing right here. So that's just how I feel personally. But I don't want to be harsh. Like I get what you're saying. That is our love for Dream is the reason why we, or demanding all these different things, because Dreams is so ambitious. It's probably the most ambitious. It is the most, not even probably. It is the most ambitious Sony game ever made. If I'm being
Yeah,
honest,
I
it
agree.
is it's not even debatable, right?
Yeah.
So
not
it's
at all.
like,
Oh, it really isn't.
so when you have that, and then you mention the fact that they are a smaller, probably one of the smaller studios, it's like I can understand, this like it's that thing where I can definitely understand why it's taking so long. I just wish we had communication, right? Because at first I was also like, I understand, but I still, where's the multiplayer? And then someone, okay, I'm not even gonna say someone because he might be here watching because he responded to me on Twitter today. It was a guy named 800 Pixel Gorilla, I believe,
Yeah.
and he was like, he just asked me a simple question, right? He's like, people always say multiplayer this, multiplayer that, and they're like, how would you do multiplayer? And that, I kid you not, I literally stopped replying, and I was just like, wait a second, this man just hit me with the question of the year, right?
Yeah.
How would I even do multiplayer in Dreams? You know what I'm saying? Like, God, that is such a difficult thing to think of. I mean, the creating aspect for sure, right? That makes sense. More imps, boom. I'm pretty sure that wouldn't be too hard. At least I think so. I could be wrong on that too, right? But it's like the part where you're playing, it's not the same as Little Planet, where you get into your character and then you kind of move around. It's not that. So it's like, wait, that's very, very difficult in a kind of game like Dreams, because it's all, you can make anything you desire. So it's like, man, that is a tough one, and maybe that's the conclusion they came across. But it's just like we are simply all just giving our thoughts and opinions. But we don't know. In comparison to like me and Michael just being like, hey guys, the real reason is, this and that and that. It's like, oh, okay, boom, that's it, we're done. We can't. There's nothing we can really say because they've already explained the reason why, it's taking so long, kind of thing.
And does this play into your whole in your video of the future of Dreams? You said that the potential is there, but it's not there yet.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
like, basically, that's more so what you mean regarding that.
Yeah. Oh, I do notice someone says, and multiplayer was never promised. So that's not actually true. If you actually watch the interview, they did say multiplayer was coming shortly after. Before that was after they even said it was going to come on launch. I'm not talking about the Trello Jam or the Trello board or whatever, where there's research and there's development. They actually said multiplayer was going to come shortly after launch. You can watch multiple interviews. I think it was even an IGN interview where he asked how many players and all these different things. At 4, maybe 8. Alex was saying that. So like they definitely did say multiplayer was coming shortly after, which is why people are frustrated.
I will have to look up that because I mean, I've never, multiplayer doesn't really mean anything to me personally. Like, it's my least
Yeah.
wanted thing, honestly. I don't have any want for it really at all. It would be cool if there was creator side multiplayer, being able to work in the same file. That would be awesome, but not necessary. So, like, I don't have any stake in the multiplayer conversation, but I do have a stake in one of the other videos that you made, which was about Dreams on PC.
That's always a big topic.
Yes, and why you want it on PC and its place in the PC user market. So, like, go ahead and lay out your thoughts on Dreams on PC and how important, or if it's important at all.
When I made these videos, after I made these videos, I always kind of try to sit back and think, are we asking too much? You know what I'm saying? That's why I say it's so ambitious, because it's like you show us the world, and then it's like you show us the world of like everything, and it's just like, well, but here's what we're doing. It's so hard to not want because of what you can see dreams being.
Yeah, the
So it
potential.
almost seems like,
Yeah.
yeah, the potential. So it's like, oh, this and that and that. And from some people, because there's, I feel like there's people that are like, oh my God, you guys are always complaining and asking, but it's like, it's not out of like hate. It's just like, oh my goodness, this is such a crazy thing. It's like having a Lamborghini, but driving at, 5 miles per hour. It's like, this could be so much more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So with Dreams coming to PC, for me, it just seems like the place for it. I mean, there's so many arguments for why I feel like Dreams could be just overall better. Some of them would be like the fact that you have places platforms like Roblox, Minecraft, Gmod. It just seems like the perfect place for Dreams because you have these people who are creative. And I don't want to have anyone mishear what I'm saying because some people actually thought that I was actually insulting dreamers on PlayStation because I'm saying that a lot of creative people in terms of what they do are on PC. I'm not saying that people on console don't have creative potential or creative talent or anything like that. It's just when you see these kind of things, you automatically assume, oh yeah, this is going to be on PC, no problem, like 100%. This is a PC thing, right?
Yeah.
When you just look at it because you see that people are creating their own games, and when you think of that, you think of Unity, Unreal,
Mm.
you think of indie games, you think of, itch.io, you think of Steam. So it's like everything associated with that is just usually on PC. So when you hear, oh no, that's not the case, it's a console only thing, you think, wow, that's odd. That's different. I mean, I don't know. So for me, I'm actually standing up right now because I'm so passionate about this. So for me, I just feel like with Dreams on PC, they could replace these things like itch, not replace, but have like an own place where you have this library of games and it's all attached to Dreams. And you have this, because there's something about Dreams where the idea of just hopping on and just finding, creation that people just publish there and being able to hop in there, play, leave a comment, and then maybe even message the guy and say, oh, this is amazing. And then it's like, yo, you want to work together and just collaborate? Like the whole
Yeah.
social, everything connected is just freaking insane. And it's Dreams is so current right now, or if not ahead of its time, that it just baffles me that it's just limited. That's just how I feel. So for me, it's not even the whole bringing a PC just so someone was saying that the reason why I wanted to be on PC is so it can beat Minecraft. I don't even care about that. I think maybe at one point I did. I don't even care about that no more. Like Dreams could be forever less popular by miles of Roblox and Minecraft, and I still would want it to be on PC because it's just I just want Dreams to really hit that potential that I feel like it could hit. But then you say, your idea of Dream, is that what Media Molecule idea of Dream is? And I think it is because I feel like when you think of Dreams, they literally think of it like a indie game hub, or no, the YouTube for gaming, which is one of the developers of Media Molecule was saying. And when I think of the YouTube of gaming, I think having as many people be able to absorb it, interact with it, just get involved. And I think that can really be done on PC because when you think of PlayStation, you think of I'm just gonna hop on to play God of War or Spider-Man or just play Call of Duty with the buddies. You don't really think I'm gonna go ahead and make a game, or you know what I'm saying? It's like people are gonna want to just play on console, which I don't blame them. But you have to have that environment where people wanted to just create, and have people play like the how it is with itch.io and Steam and all these different things. So it needs as many people interacting with it and being involved with it as possible. I feel like, and that's why I wanted to be on PC.
I mean,
Well,
yeah, I
in chat, someone said, "I think part of the magic of Dreams is that it's on a console."
yeah,
I
there
think
you
that's
go.
part. I think it's part of the miracle that
Well, I
Dreams
mean that.
exist.
I
Period.
mean,
But I
surely,
don't
like
think
that's
there's
the premise,
anything. I don't
though,
think there's
right?
anything special about it being on console. Like,
Well,
and let me put it. Y'all take what I just said in the idea of what I've said throughout 100 episodes of the
yeah.
show.
All right, all right, go ahead.
Okay, it's a miracle that Dreams was ever created and that it ever worked on a console. That's right off the top. Okay, but now once we have that, it remaining on console isn't special to me. I've
Yeah.
I've heard this line before. many times when we've talked about this on the show about it, part of its magic. I'm sorry, but I feel like the magic can spread. Like
Okay, well,
I feel like
all
people
right.
can be more magical if you
I
give
think the
more people the
whole
opportunity. You
well, the
know?
whole premise was like, at least in my opinion, is giving game development the ability to give game development to people that traditionally wouldn't necessarily have access to it. Not everybody has a PC that can run Unreal or Unity, and like being able to
This is a
create
moot
games
point.
and everything on a console. Like surely that was the whole premise of Dreams in the first place, is
I
to put it on a console.
I get that, but to say that it can be done, okay, because you just
That's not
reiterated what
yeah, but
someone
that's
said.
yes, but that's not to say that it needs to stay on the
Yeah,
console. But
yeah,
like that was the whole premise of why Dreams existed in the first place. Like, do you get where I'm going with it? Like, it doesn't need to stay here anymore, but it was designed around a console for a reason.
yes, and
Like, yeah,
it's all good. I just don't like hearing I don't like hearing the idea that it somehow is less magical when it by
no,
being
it's
given to more
absolutely
people,
not.
because that's how
No,
I
I mean,
read that.
yeah,
it
yeah, no, I get what you mean.
it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, so it's like whenever I hear that, because bad dreams, you believe me, you ain't got to tell me, but yeah, a lot of people don't have the ability to afford a PC, but that still doesn't mean that people who have a
have yeah,
PC
you can't use
shouldn't
it.
be able to
Right.
enjoy it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and y'all know that for me, I'd forego all my arguments for PC, all of them. If I could, if the PlayStation had the drivers for Wacom support, because that's one of the biggest reasons I want it. Is I think the actual use of a real stylus, like using an art monitor, like the one I'm staring at right now, and being able to use my hand instead of something else would benefit me greatly in what I
We
create.
we go completely
And,
opposite directions of why we want a PC port.
Well, see, I do believe that the PC port is beneficial for Dreams overall, but I'm saying
Course, but
kind of in the same way,
like your personal reason for
yeah,
you is so that you can have driver support.
it,
The reason for me would be purely for exportation, because in my opinion, you can't drop a PC version without having exportation. You just can't. It just doesn't work.
yeah,
Because
and
the people that want it on PC want it for that purpose. So you
yeah,
can't on PC and not give it that.
and if it's oh yeah, so there's a bunch of good reasons for it to be on PC. That's just one of the ones that I would prefer, where it's like, but if they said, oh, but you know what, we'll give you Wacom support, you don't need a PC, I'd be like, you've shut me up a little.
Oh yeah,
I feel like you're bribing me, but I'm gonna
like
take it.
if they added exportation in some form to the PlayStation version, like I
They
wouldn't
can't.
really
see,
necessarily
that
be
all comes.
interested in a PC version.
That's the thing. A lot of things we ask for always seem to be like something that would just be natural if it was on PC. Like
Right, exactly.
exportation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like another thing, people are saying we need the PS5 update because you want it to be like more powerful. It's like it's almost like this. It's everything that PC is literally like saying, hey man, we will also like to have that. You know what I'm saying? Because another thing is if Dream stays on console, it's this thing where they would need to constantly bring it to the next gen. Because I think Dreams needs more time than any game ever that has been an exclusive, on Sony. It's more so like, especially except for like Little Planet, it's kind of the same concept. But these games kind of need more time instead of it being like, hey, release it, boom, you play, you're done with it, and you kind of move on to the next one. Whereas Dreams, it's like it needs so many hands on it and time
yeah,
that it's like that you have that ticking time. You have that time that's ticking. That's like, hey guys, you realize on the next gen, you might not even be here. Whereas like everybody wants that new thing. Like I want the PS6, and Dream's not there. Like, oh well, you kind of just move. So it's like bringing a PC also kind of makes it immortal. Where like you have like Roblox that's been there since what 2004 or six.
yeah.
That has had that time, right? That decades of time of just simply updating it and improving on it, and you never have to worry about like, oh man, I can never play this when I get a better PC. You see what I'm saying? So it's like there's so many debates, so many arguments you can make of why it's good. But I do I don't I understand that what you're saying that people can't afford it. So I also agree that I don't think it should only be on PC.
Yeah.
I just think it should be on PC as well. Right. I agree that a lot of people can afford it, and the fact that it can create and stuff like that is cool. But I still don't think that should be the reason why. Like, hey man, because of that, don't let dreams be what it can be. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah. You're limiting it from what its potential is
Yeah.
to be.
We've
Yep.
we've spoken about
Oh
everything ad
yes.
nauseum, but that definitely, because I know some people still say it as if it's like a hot take, but I've been saying it since before I had a PS5. Like, I don't care what it takes. Yeah, I don't care if they bring out an update that's like PS6 users can use it. I'm like, who has a PS6? I don't care. Make the updates. I'll get there eventually.
Yep.
I'll get there
Yeah.
eventually, and it'll
Yeah.
be at my disposal. But um, all of this in your video regarding Dreams on PC, and we I believe you started talking about the idea that the original, like the engine for Dreams, may not even be possible to do some of these things in the version of Dreams that exists now. And you brought up the idea of the Dreams 2.0.
Mhm.
And do you believe that that's the case? Do you
Like them
believe
work.
that? Do you believe that like I believe in the video you were talking about how you thought Little Big Planet was dead, and then the blue MM showed up and was like Little Big Planet too,
Oh
and
yeah, that was a comment. That was a tweet someone had, and that
yeah,
kind of gave me a perspective because I was like, huh, that's actually kind of interesting. Because it's like a lot of things with Dreams. Because with Dreams has been remade. I don't know how many times, like 2 or 3 times.
mm-hmm.
Like, is it possible that they've probably said, "Oh shoot, we had no choice but to release this, but we might have to remake this again." You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're obviously calling it Dreams 2 be kind of crazy, but it's like, dang, they have to in order for, like, for example, maybe multiplayer cannot be possible on this current version of Dreams to the point where they have to literally rework everything, which is why maybe it's taken 3+ years with no communication whatsoever, right? Maybe it's just simply impossible, right? So it's just one of those things where I was like, the 2.0 could be like Dreams has to be remade almost from the ground up to do that, and that's just a theory in my
Yeah,
opinion, right?
Mm, mm.
Because I mean, like think about it, like it is literally possible that maybe Dreams could not have multiplayer because it's impossible right now in its current version. You see what I'm saying? Even though they did say that from the ground up, that's kind of like the main focus. At least that's what Alex said. Before you left and whatnot. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. When I mean 2.0, I don't mean like Dreams 2 and hey hit. It's just more like
A
just
rework of the engine itself.
rework of the engine to support things like multiplayer and all these different things.
But so, in your mind, then, if they obviously this is all theoretical, but theoretically speaking, if they have to rework the engine in order for multiplayer to actually work, in what sense does that actually change things? Like, so is it down to the fact that the way that the flex system works, it's going to interrupt how multiplayer works, so that's going to change the overall look and feel of Dreams as a whole? What do you think it is about the engine that needs to change in order for multiplayer to work?
Yeah, and that's the question. That's the thing I can't really put my finger on it. Like, why would they need to recreate it? But that's just another thing of like we just taking guesses of what it is. Like, what could because there's clearly a massive problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way this is like a little thing, and they couldn't just do over like maybe even a few months, maybe at most a year, but 3 years and it hasn't even moved from the research and development. Like like that, there's something that is so big that they can't figure out, right? Maybe it's thermometer, maybe it's the fact that like there's no like main character, or maybe the way it's like there's something that I don't know what it is, but it's something massive that they clearly haven't struggled with. Otherwise multiplayer would have been here by now. I mean, why wouldn't it?
I don't know. Like, the only, because one, as I said before, multiplayer, whatever in my mind. Um, but what there's the only thing that honestly has taken the wind out of me, and
Here we go. I know what's coming.
You do, because I
I
won't let
do,
it go.
yeah.
I
You
won't let
won't.
it go. The only thing that has truly taken the wind out of me when it comes to anything with MM, okay, I know people have asked for a lot of stuff. You know, I'm a simple man. But the only thing to truly throw me off is the fact that there's no scheduled PS5 version.
Yeah.
That is the only thing that I was, guys, I'm sure you saw the change in my demeanor since the episode when we talked about this, but it hasn't changed. That is the only thing that has waves at night. If you are asking an actual real question and you don't know what dreams is, I'll take the time to explain it to you. But I'm not sure that you're being real.
Yeah.
No, he's joking. He's definitely joking.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Okay.
is this a lull moment or what? Like,
I just want to make sure before I come like real serious. Like, let me tell you about this, bro.
tell you, yeah.
But the thing is that for them to say, you know, we're looking into it, but to not have it ready, or at least have a, you know, something for it, like multiplayer, like you said, we've been on the idea for a long time that.
Just to stop you, wasn't this regarding the tweet that was sent? Like the reply that they put on Twitter? That they said
that we talked about like 3 episodes ago.
Yeah, just I don't want to correct you, but wasn't that question regarding PSVR 2? And they said they're looking at it, but they have no plans for it at the moment.
That is correct, I believe.
Yeah, not the PS5 version. Yeah.
But
okay.
the thing is if it becomes a PS5 version, then there's no reason it wouldn't work on PSVR 2. You would think they would have both of those, being that's one of the greatest things in my opinion.
We see,
as a person,
that's where I took it completely different.
Look,
because
we're aware. We're aware of you, sir. We're not talking about.
But you have to hold on to that.
Nobody agreed with you. Okay, no one agreed with you. We all accepted that you were shilling.
I will die on this hill. In order to look into it, you must already have a PS5 version planned. I'm sorry, but that's just it.
Look, I get it, but the point I'm trying to make is the only thing that threw me off was the idea that they would as far as we know, there is no PS5 version that is. You threw me all off because you had to shill your way in here with this. But no, it's just the idea, because I had held on to in my head, Jen, for a long time, that I was like, look, if we're going to get a PS5 version, it's going to be around the time the PSVR 2 drops, so that we can basically still remain compatible with, you know, the most current piece of hardware. And being told that that's not what's happening, at least within the time frame, completely took the wind out of me. I can wait for multiplayer. I can wait for, you know, I even though I think it should be on PC or be being worked on for PC, and I truly think it is being worked on for PC, I can wait. But the one thing was like, you're looking into it, but I feel like I just died a little inside. Because and once again, this is partially me, because I had just created this theory that, you know, it would be the logical way of doing things. But, you know, I have no idea what the hell goes on in the back rooms. What, you know, whether Sony's like, hey, yeah, well, you know, we'll put you guys to work on that, but, you know, we're going to focus over here. Or, you know, maybe they're like, oh, we want to get these, you know, quality of life fixes out before we jump into truly big things to get the, you know, update little by little the engine. I understand. But personally, it took a lot out of me. It took a lot out of me when it was just like, yeah, it's not going to be compatible with PSVR 2. If you had trouble with the moves on PS4, you're just going to have to struggle with them. You're just going to have to bite down and just take it. That threw me off. That was the truly only real big surprise for me out of everything that people have wanted.
And I mean that kind of wraps back down to again, wrap back around to the fact that it's like communication. It's like that's kind of odd. Like, why wouldn't that be communicated that, um, like for example, PS5 version, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they skipped even the PS5 version and said PSV2, like, it's not compatible. It's like they answered that directly, which is kind of interesting. But like the PS5, nope, no answers. And I know it's not them, it's Sony, right? That's why I always try to wrap around back to Sony because it has to be Sony. There's no way that it can't be Sony, right? But it's just like, why though? I'm just confused. And then it's like we have this whole thing now. We're just throwing in ideas of why this and why that, and then you start having people think, nah, man, that just means they're done. Like this, there's so many opinions of what's going on, right? With Dreams and Media Molecule and what they're doing and why they can't talk or why we can't know these things, right? Because like you said, it's like, why wouldn't we have a PS5 version? That just makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Like
like
Just
when
to not
every
just to not
when
be left
that just
behind
yeah,
technologically.
like
right,
when
like that
yeah,
just
but not
makes
only
no
that,
sense.
but like when every other game that's came out like recently has had a PS5 version come out for it. Like there's been a director's cut for nearly everything. We've had remakes of The Last of Us that didn't even was even needed, and Dreams that just sat on PS4. Like it just doesn't make sense. It
Right.
just
Sorry,
it just don't make
sorry.
sense.
It's been 84 years since the PS5. Still no word. But between War Garble and these comments coming in, Saku, yeah, it's like all. It's just like I said. For me, I don't know. It probably makes sense to the more business minded. But for me, it's just like I said. That's the only thing that's ever thrown me in the last 2.5 years of this show. I've heard a bunch of people complaining about a lot of stuff. Okay, there's some quality of life things that we take care of, but at the same time, nothing really threw me like for a loop other than you know, it's like, yeah, we got this thing. Like, I know people love VR, okay, and I'm not here to talk again about VR, but in my brain of what interests me in VR, Dreams is the only reason to have it. Like
Yeah,
that's
agree. I
that
literally only got it because of Dreams.
yeah, and so with that in mind, I know everybody likes to throw out Half-Life Alyx and all this stuff, and Dreams, even when companies like IGN are talking about VR, they don't even mention Dreams. But to me, it's like the only reason anyone should want it. So with that in my mind, as we can see, I'm starting from a place of flaw already, but that's why it hit me so hard. Especially because I needed something other than the moves because they just don't work, and we talked about that many times, many times. So, yeah, I hope that they haven't been working on all this stuff. Or let me rephrase that. Excuse me. I hope that they've been working on all this stuff, but it's actually for a Dreams 2
Right.
or a Dreams Plus, because I think
Okay.
that that's worth it. I do believe
Yeah.
that it's worth it because if
Yep.
they did have to rebuild it all up and that's how it has to transfer over to PS5, I've said countless times, they can take my money. They can have it. All of it. Everything that I got in my account right now, they can have it. Give me plus or 2 or Dreams Plus 2 or whatever you got. If that's what's happening and that's why they can't talk, it would validate the long-standing theory that Jamie and I have talked about multiple times on this show, that Dreams still feels like it's in its beta.
Literally. Like literally.
And I think
Yeah.
if Dreams 1 was literally the beta, like so they could get any return while they continued to work on what would then be PS5, because what? It pretty much launched the game launched like right before PS5 came out.
Yeah, not long after. Yeah,
So if they came and dropped that, I'd be like, you know what? We had it all
perfect.
along.
Yeah,
Perfect. That works for me. But we'll see. We'll see. Because I'm gonna tell you, some of y'all are starting to sound real how'd I put this? A lot of y'all are starting to sound like supervillains in the Twitter on Twitter. and it's I've been laughing. Okay, y'all are entertaining me, so don't think I'm not throwing shade. But a lot of y'all been sounding real dark on Twitter.
People having a bad day.
Yeah. So, with all my feelings and how passionate I am about this, how I still sometimes cry at night because we won't be able to, have some of the people that are no longer with MM on the show.
Speaking
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
this might be like super. I want to make sure I say this correctly and not come off the wrong way, but it is a slightly concerning that some of the big people of Media Molecule are leaving, and like Kareem and Alex. I remember when Alex left. I literally I didn't tweet much about it, but I was like, whoa, that's a big thing. Like he was literally one of the only people that was communicating on Twitter about multiplayer, how it was made for the ground up, and the fact that he left had me worried because it's like what like I mean, it could be like, okay, he's just done, he's just moving on, but it's just that is something that, it's not really talked about because it might be a touchy topic, but I really hope, I truly, truly hope he didn't leave because of the vision of where Dreams is heading to and it's like what's going, you know what I'm saying? That is my thing that I hope that was not the case.
I think
You know,
I see where
that's-
you're going with it, but I think we have to remember to take off the dreams goggles sometimes and like remember that these are just people
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
this is their job. Like, people move jobs all the time, especially in this industry. People work at PlayStation and move to Xbox and vice versa. And I get where you're going with it because obviously to work at Media Molecule on something as passionate and that Dreams is, you would think that you'd want to stay there to see it through, but ultimately, it is just a job. It doesn't necessarily mean that Dreams is dying because all the main people are leaving or whatever.
Mhm. I hope so. I hope that really is the case because whenever I think of Dreams, my thought is just Alex. We watch so many videos and I see Alex, his like crazy mind of this. It is, you know what I'm saying? Like his passion about like certain things, especially multiplayer. He was like the main one talking about multiplayer in almost every aspect. And then now Kareem leaving, and then there was some other people. I mean, yeah, it could just be a job, but it's just something that's always itched on my mind that I never really brought it up, even for a video or anything, because I
Yeah.
just like, I wonder if anyone else thinks about
Kareem leaving is very surprising considering, like, he's been there from the beginning, so it
right,
is
like
like, he's one of the founders. So it is interesting to see Kareem changing his path, but who knows? We won't know why, obviously.
I
yeah,
just know
definitely.
that I have no way to really get him anymore.
I know, it's really sad. We
And we
might be able
tried
to.
we
Hey,
tried so
look at the
hard.
positive. We might be able to now because there'll be no red tape. He can just come on and talk about his
Oh
experience
No,
working
there's
at
red
MM.
tape.
there's
There's
no
red
way.
tape.
There's no yeah. There's no way. Yeah. So
See,
here's what's really
this-
going on, guys.
see,
They
this
ain't
is why
doing
we
nothing. That's what.
this. This is why we have to keep a check on Jamie because every now and
You
again
have
he
to,
loses
you
his
just have to
mind
hold on
and he
to like
just no, bruh. How big is
yeah,
that little piece that you're holding on to?
yeah.
Because
Like,
it's dressed in a bunch of different topics. Like
I know. I'm very hopeful about everything. You have to be positive about it. Otherwise, you
I
just
hope
get
about
depressed like
nothing.
you. Like, you get depressed like you in the corner just moping because you're never going to see Kareem on the show. Like, jeez.
Just the facts. That's all. That's what I want. I want the facts. Okay, and I'm willing to wait for them. Obviously, but there have been a few people with MM that I've really wanted to speak to, and I haven't gotten a chance to do so. And if they leave, I still have to feel like they're under some sort of NDA, and I still probably wouldn't be able to get to talk to them. But I'll never stop trying. Never stop trying.
Yeah.
Where's the Nintendo 64 release of Dreams?
But I will say, will you guys be concerned if like Siobhan Reddy, John, Abby, Tom, they left? Like those are like four staples of Dreamers at this point, right? Like in terms of community, and she's literally the owner right now of Media Molecule. Siobhan, and then John is somebody that's like been that, like he's almost like Alex in the way I think of Dreams. If those people left, would that then be like, okay, hold up, that's you know what I'm saying? Like if they got replaced by someone
Yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if someone like Tom left, although I'd be very sad because we all love Tom, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be worried because
Yeah,
like
not as worried as the other ones, but that's Tom
yeah,
is just like,
yeah,
I was.
he's the face like of the community and stuff. So I get why he was brought up, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I still don't think that I would be particularly too worried. I would be a little worried if Shaban left. I would be a bit worried then. But everybody else, not so much. No, I wouldn't be too worried.
I don't think any of it would make me worried.
Interesting.
And
'Cause I know, like,
the
the
only
first
reason I
step.
say that is because I don't. The people I know are the people that I've spoken with from MM.
Mhm.
Outside of that, I don't really know the vision of what they see. So I don't really know what would change. Therefore, I can't equate it with me being worried about it. Because I don't know if it would change or, now if Bobby Kotick came in and started being became the head of Media Molecule, then I'd be like, wait a minute, we're all about to get cleaned out.
Yeah, get ready for those microtransactions.
But just the idea of someone within the industry, especially as I've become like more versed in the gaming industry, like paying attention to it over the last couple of years, people come and go all the time. And a lot of the times it's not about like, how would you say, it's not about really direction or anything. It's another job.
Right.
Like I have an opportunity to, I mean, think back to Amy Hennig when she left Naughty Dog to go try to work with the EA imbeciles on a Star Wars game. Everybody became way more interested in what EA was going to be doing with Star Wars. But nobody was worried that Amy Hennig left Naughty Dog because you still had, what's his name? Druck.
Sorry, chat is just savage today.
What's happening?
There's just so much going on in chat. It's crazy.
Did my Bobby Kotick thing go on? did it send everyone into a tailspin?
Yeah, Bad Dreams the only saying that the name for Dreams is stupid. We
have
people going on about Bobby. There's so much going on in chat right now.
The name of Dreaming is a big topic, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like that one is the thing that I've been thinking about as well. Like, why have it be called Dreams? Like that is the hardest. Every time I type Dreams in, I don't get Dreams at all. I get random stuff like you know what I'm saying? I get the
I'm sorry.
Juice World, like I get like lucid dreaming, all kinds of stuff.
Sorry, man. It's just Bad Dream said it just call it Engine. Create your own game.
Engine.
I mean, I personally have no problem with Dreams. And I think that the way they marketed it, as a engine to fulfill, give you the power to bring your dreams to life, I like the whole messaging of it. I have no problem with it. I love it, actually.
I think that Dreams is a good name to explain dreams for sure. But in terms of like searching it up,
searchability is terrible.
It is horrible. Like you can't type Dreams anywhere and find Dreams unless you're like typing Dreams game or Dreams PS4 or Dreams PS5. Yeah. Now we have to do Dream PS4/PS. Like it's such a, you know what I mean? Like it's not like Last of Us where you type in Last of Us, boom, you get Even Dreams Universe is better. Like he says, a better SEO. Dreams Universe is like okay, but that's even a bit better than just Dreams. I don't know.
See, that just makes me think of, and I know this is completely out of left field, but that just makes me think of Edge of Tomorrow, the movie with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Because they thought that the actual name, which is from the manga, wouldn't work in the West. So they changed it to Edge of Tomorrow. But the name is actually All You Need Is Kill. And I love that freaking name.
All you need is kill.
All you need is kill. And I was like, I wish I ever, even to this day, whenever someone brings it up to me, they'll be like, yo, have you seen Edge of Tomorrow? I'm like, oh, you mean all you need is kill? Because I'm so mad. And then they went and tried to do another name change when it released on Blu-ray. They called Live, Die, Repeat. And I'm just like, you should have just stuck with what was there. Just call it.
Wasn't Live, Die, Repeat like the slogan for it?
It was the slogan, but then it became basically the front cover name when it got to Blu-ray or home release.
Oh, right. Okay.
So,
I'm
yeah.
more sure. I remember when I went to see it in the cinema, like it was called Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat. Like it had both of them on it. Like that was the slogan and whatever. But
Yeah. So anyway, back to what we were going over. Yeah, I think there was a time when people being upset about how quiet MM has been. I felt they were jumping the gun and were being unfair to MM. I truly felt that way. I'm starting to understand just a little, but I still would remind people that when it comes down to it, I don't think, as I think Jen has brought up multiple times, they can't do anything until PlayStation says they can. Until Sony says they can say things, they can't. And so I always like to keep that in the back of my mind, because if there's one thing we know regarding Sony, is they're not always great at marketing.
don't even get me. Please don't get me started today. Seriously.
I think the last time I was actually blown away by PlayStation's marketing or Sony's marketing was the original PlayStation. The "You Are Not Ready" thing.
Oh yeah, that was great marketing.
That
Yeah, really.
That was-
like
like,
edgy. Yeah.
Now, mind you, I've still bought their product because, I enjoy the
it's
PlayStation,
PlayStation,
line,
yeah.
But that was the last time that I think that a certain type of marketing for a brand associated with or something to Sony, I think that was the last time I was actually just like, huh, all right. Yeah, somebody made their money. Somebody made their money that day. They were working on all thrusters, but that's just me.
Nobody markets like that anymore. Like that was such a great time. Like marketing, like the way that they advertised a product to you was just so different than the way it is now. It's sad. It's like it's really sad when you compare how stuff was advertised to you, like in a magazine and stuff. Like people were so much more risky with the way that they advertise stuff, and today it's sad. But
So
yeah,
I got a question. How would you market Dreams?
Oh dear God, that's a whole episode in itself.
So
really
you're coming back next week? You coming back next week, Genesis? I mean, you can. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
I'm down.
So next week we'll have you back on, and that'll be the topic. That'll be the whole discussion.
A whole hour and a half will be just about that. Because seriously, we could genuinely go on for that long on how we would do it.
Oh, we're going to now. He said he's coming back next week.
All right, well that's it then.
Yeah.
That's what it is next week.
Okay. Well, next week, guys,
All right.
that's going to be the topic. How would you market Dreams? And funny enough, I know we've talked a little around it, but I don't know if we've ever actually gone into specifically how we would do it.
Yeah, not like a full deep dive into it. So that's actually quite interesting. Let's definitely do that next week.
Let me ask.
I'll make a presentation, everything. I'm ready. Like I'll
You know
be ready.
what?
Don't worry.
You know what? That's your challenge for next week.
Presentation.
If you have time, if
I have the time, I will do it. Yeah.
I want you to make a commercial
Oh crap.
for
I don't know if
Dreams.
I don't have time to do that. You'll have to give me more time in the week.
Dude,
please.
come on.
Ooh.
A week. A week. You got it.
Okay, I'll try.
You
I'll try.
wanted multiplayer already. What you ain't got enough time? Go ahead and get. You better make a commercial, baby.
Correction. I want exportation over multiplayer.
That is true.
Mm.
I feel like one of the most
Dreams.
fun games to market would be Dreams.
Yeah.
Like, literally
think-
limitless opportunities.
I think the only God, we're gonna get into. You know what? We got a few minutes. Let's go ahead.
Yeah. All right.
Let's go ahead and get into it. But we're still coming back next week for to do the marketing. How would you market Dreams? I just think that the marketing that they've done for it is the biggest mistake they've had is what I would call the corporate mistake, where they think attaching it to other names of certain things is going to give it prestige, when all it does is make it get outshined by whatever they're attaching it to.
Facts.
So, like, you know, when they
Jumanji.
brought, yeah, Jumanji.
Oh my
Which,
god, that was
I'm sorry, but nothing stands up to The
Ghostbusters,
Rock.
like-
oh,
Yeah,
don't please. That was so annoying. Like like we've talked about it in the past, and it really does trigger me. But that Ghostbusters ad was absolutely pointless. Like, what was the point in making that game? And like, you know, all the time that the people put into developing that game, and it's a great game. And then you have this whole video shoot. You have a whole cast there and the whole team to video this commercial. Let's just show the game for 2.6 seconds. I think that's going to be more than enough to pull off our point. Like, what?
It made me want to play the level of Ghostbusters.
It's just-
I have dreams. Like,
Oh, it's just. I honestly don't understand what they're doing with these commercials. It's just
but
idiocy.
Some are a little more. Some have been better than that. But I feel like that, yeah, they're aiming it at like the usual suspects, but not at the ones that you would expect them to have an actual interest grown in Dreams itself. It's just always
exactly.
it's just like, you know, like if someone from Media Molecules here, please, y'all know how much I love you. Don't be taking it to heart, nothing. But if I were whoever handles their social media presence, I would be sending Martin Nebelong over to Corridor Digital. That's a partnership. Do a long form Corridor Digital where they were doing these things. He even tried to make, or he even made a thing where like they were trying to recreate a Bob Ross painting using the 3D programs that they use for movie special effects and stuff like that. And their whole thing was that they wanted to see like who could make the best one within a small amount of time. If Martin Nebelong was a part of that challenge and he used Dreams, that would have, in that video that they created, that would have done, in my opinion, I do not know because I can't see the possibility. I don't have the eye of Agamotto or nothing. But like, that to me is something where you show people working in it, you have it and how it works compared to other programs. You can discuss the shortcomings as well as the things that make it easy. He would have been able to create in the time that they did, where they had to rush, even using assets in things like Unreal or Maya or 3D Studio Max, all that stuff that they use. He would have been able to complete a full painting like he did and blown them all out of the water.
Yep.
That
is a good
is
example.
what it should have been.
Yep.
Doing a music video, which was dope. The music video that they did back when the first launch, who was it for? Wasn't it for Osiris or something?
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah,
that was cool.
no,
that was
that-
actually cool.
That was a good.
That joint
That
was
was great.
Wasn't marketed better.
that joint was dope, but it was like video and then over. Like, people don't like, to the casual doesn't really care what you made the video with. It's whether or not it's a good video. Now, to the people in the background who want to look it up, yeah, they're like, I wonder what program they used for that. There's some stuff that seems a little weird in how that works. But as I was trying to say regarding the conversation we had at the beginning of before the show, the pre-show conversation, you have to remember that I know a lot of fan bases they want to be catered to. But usually the survivability of any product isn't on the fan base buying it. It's on how many people you can get that aren't part of the fan base to buy it. And so that's why I always bring up the idea of the vocal minority and whether or not something is niche. Because that's really what it comes down to. We all think we're important. That's that's just the natural state of humanity, okay? We all think we're important and we all think that we have the voice. I'm saying this for me too, guys. But when it comes down to it, like, you want to know why certain IPs are willing to go willy-nilly with things that you're like, how could they cut that out? Why wouldn't they do that? Why would they do this? All that stuff? Because it's not, they got our money. Even if all we're going to do is complain about it. They got our money. But they're trying to get everybody's money. So, like, yeah, back to the thing. It's just, when I saw the Noah Cyrus video, I was like, that is dope. I knew it was made with dreams. My first thought was, who that isn't in the Dreams universe knows that that's Dreams? Or even cares to look it up? And that is when I started forming this whole idea of, I wonder what partnerships they're going to be doing. Because that didn't really show off Dreams. It did, but not in a direct enough way to make people go
Question it.
Yeah, to question it, be like, I want to go after Dreams. Like, that looks interesting. Oh, wait, they said they made it how quick? Like it's just
I get what you're
next
saying
week.
for sure.
Next week.
Yeah, next. I was about to say next because this is, you're right. We definitely need to.
Yeah, like I said, you need a whole episode for it. It's a very deep topic that we've never actually deep dived. So yeah, next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do expect that commercial.
Wrapping back to Dreams, one of the things with Dreams
I'm gonna try
that I thought that Media Molecule was gonna do more of, who knows, they might still, was like Arch Dream and the one that they just released, which was like what was it? It's like a small little game they made that was showcasing, like, it was just it was about their little game as well as like other creations people made for like a community thing. What was it called? Dang, I just played it. Like it came out like a few months ago. Yeah, the Halloween thing. Yeah, the Halloween thing that they did.
Yeah,
that was cool. Like, I don't know if you guys played it.
Yeah, we played through it.
Yeah, that part was, I thought was cool. That and Arch Dream was like the thing that made me really feel like that Media Molecule should honestly make more stuff like that. And I wonder why they don't. I don't know if it's a matter of time, because if you think about it, if they continuously made stuff like that, like, in that quality, it's something that's going to inspire so many creators, and even the people who don't create can just go ahead and enjoy and be like, "Wow, Dreams is incredible." Because I think Arch Dream was still one of the craziest and it was made in Dreams. Like the music, it's still on my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that music was literally better than the original. I mean, I might get backlash for that. I don't care. But their rework on that was literally better than the original, bro. Like, it was that good to me. Like, it's just like something like that was like, it displays Dreams so much to the point where you almost just forget that, wow, okay, maybe it doesn't even need to come to PC, even though I still want it to, obviously. But you see what I'm saying? Like, they displayed the potential of what it could actually do.
And let me run this by you, because I'm going to continue to bring it up until I have someone from MM come on this show and shut me up. Now, until they shut me down, I'm going to keep saying it. See, the way you said that, something that I promoted or that I suggested a few episodes ago was that Media Molecules should buy the rights for a game that's not being like that from a company and make the next installment of the game specifically and exclusively in Dreams. What I said to do it with was Earthworm Jim. If they got the rights to Earthworm Jim, made Earthworm Jim in Dreams so that the next installment, whether it be a reboot or whatever, would be specifically and exclusive to Dreams, people would pay enough attention to get, like, to see the next Earthworm Jim, because I can't be the only person out here that wants another Earthworm Jim that's quality. But there's no way that would not turn eyes. That would make people talk about Dreams. And we all know the quality that MM can make things. Like, they're wizards. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's funny that you
Yeah.
bring that up. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I actually do remember somebody was saying, "Oh, are we gonna get like a Little Planet 4?" They're like, "Who knows? We might make it in dreams." I
yeah,
do remember them saying
Mm.
that. So it's like, that is a fair point in which they can make games literally like that in dreams where you have to have dreams, and now it makes dreams seem just like that indie game hub like I was talking about, where it's like, wow, dreams is not just this little game in which you just go in here and just play. No, no, it's like an actual marketplace or an actual platform in which you can play these insane games because there's incredible stuff that people make, right? I wholeheartedly believe so. But I think Media Market definitely has. They are wizards, like you said, and that could be a mixture of multiple reasons. I think one of them is the fact that it is collaboration. One of the reasons I actually want multiplayer is because of the fact that it makes collaboration much easier and it's all real time, which increases the quality of creations. I don't even think it's just because Media Market could do what the community can't. It's just they can go ahead and be like, this is better. I know how to do this, and they can bring it to a beautiful piece together very, very easily. So they essentially have their own multiplayer because they're in their own office, comparison to people who are across the world and whatnot. But so the idea of them being able to make this stuff like you just mentioned would 100% maybe people like, wow, Dreams has this collection of games that is like actual like completely full-fledged games that makes me want to actually get Dreams, and the price they're offering for is like, what? That's insane. And who knows, maybe that could actually be a DLC in Dreams, like even if it's like $5-10, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm
it's
saying, that
currently,
takes it to
for those that don't know, Dreams is $8 right now in the US. So get
that's
on that.
crazy.
It's
Jeez.
crazy. It's so
Bro.
I feel bad that it's like that cheap. Like the value for money that you are getting is second to none. Like you will never get as much value out of something for that price ever than what
$8
Dreams is. Like it's just crazy. It's just ridiculous.
Sorry to
instead of
interrupt,
buying
though.
a Twitter Blue thing, you can go ahead and get Dreams.
Yeah.
Twitter Blue.
Oh, let's not go into any of that, please.
What a ridiculous thing. Oh my god.
But with that, I think we're on our last little topics before closing, and I'm going to take away chat for a second, guys. So, yeah, I'm sorry, but I have to do it because we have something we really do need to talk about. We got him, ladies and gentlemen. I complained so much that we have two things to discuss. One, as we took our last break before Christmas and New Year, IGN, after months of me being in their comments saying, y'all keep talking about PlayStation VR and you won't mention Dreams or Media Molecule, period, when talking about anything. They finally did it the same week that we went off the air.
So typical, right?
IGN finally brought up Dreams when they were talking about not only PlayStation Studios and what they could be working on, but also when they were talking about VR. Finally. So I would just like to say, we got them. Now, I've also been secretly up in people's DMs all over the place. And I'm not going to take this for myself. I'm going to say we did it. Okay? We did this. Now, we've brought up multiple times on this show how the PlayStation Studios banner pisses me off. This is the banner. Right here. Right here.
It's so sad.
And that corner is Dreams. Okay? I brought this up a few weeks ago, and I didn't have it set up in the settings. So they did this. This is Dreams in this little corner that you can't see. You can't even see anything from it. Okay? So that has always made me angry. But if you were checking out CES, you will see that Dreams is front and center, baby. front and center. It doesn't have a name, but none of them have names in this image. But
yeah, but everything else has a mascot. Like,
everything else has a mascot.
If you
It's
didn't
like,
know
what is
Dreams,
that?
like yeah, if you didn't know Dreams, you'd say like, oh, it's just a placeholder, I guess. Like they couldn't think of a fifth person. It's just
I'm just-
so sad.
That is true though, huh? That's
Yeah.
crazy, right? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
The only people that know that image is people that play Dreams.
Yes.
That is it.
But
That is
for,
it.
for those of us, like we can now this is going to be one of those times where I'm going to ask you, Jamie, to reach back for that tiny piece of hope that you always talk about. The one that you've attributed so many things onto
I know.
that Leonardo could not make his way onto that little piece to save himself from the frigid waters. But we're going to let's
There's a reason for this though. Like
yeah,
there
we're going to grab onto this and say this was a conscious decision.
absolutely.
And because it's a conscious decision, we should be able to take some hope from the fact that while he's talking about accessibility and Project Leonardo, which is a fantastic controller, I'm glad to see, PlayStation working on stuff like that and, not being soulless. The fact that Dreams made its way to the center of a PlayStation Studios banner should be celebrated.
Yeah, 100%. But the only reason it is there though is because he was talking about accessibility in games, and they are the only games that currently have a roster of accessibility options. Because I guarantee you, if Spider-Man PS4 or Spider-Man Remastered had the same amount of accessibility options as God of War or Horizon, Dreams would not be there.
Dang. That's the
It's the cold hard truth. It really is. The only reason it is
one
this is there was
time-
no other.
he literally
thing
flipped
to
it. He
put
went
there.
from he be optimistic
Yeah, but
to
it's
like,
yeah,
no,
but,
this is
yeah, no, but this is no.
See,
Chris,
this
no,
is why I
this
can't
is-
work
no.
with this man.
No, look, it's this is the corporate side of Jamie coming out. This is the marketer. This is the corpo side. Genuinely, tell me if I'm wrong. If the marketing team could have put Spider-Man in that image front and center, do you think they would have chose Spider-Man, or do you think they would have chose Dreams? Honestly,
We all know the answer to that, yes.
there you go. So
but
that's
you were
why
supposed to
it's
be
there.
the one. I literally gave you an alley-oop to slam dunk your positivity home for the end of the show, and you literally just threw it back at me.
I had to just to see your face.
See, this is what you get. This is what you get. I should have learned my lesson. Then you knew we should trust in the British. We know where this leads. No, I'm just But for real, dog, you gonna throw it back? You gonna throw it back in my face after I set you up to be positive? I hate you.
No, seriously, no. Okay, but no, it is like, yeah, it's great to see it there. It's fantastic, even though it's a really sad image. Like, for God's sake, you could have at least put the Dreams logo on there so that people knew what it was.
Hold on. You literally said, "Hold up, I'll be positive," and immediately started shitting on it again. Yeah, I know. You give it. Yeah, look, it's really good there, but look at the freaking image.
It is horrendous, though, isn't it?
I mean, come on, like you could have at least just throwed up the logo. Like seriously, it would have took an extra 2 minutes just to put that PNG in the center there, so people go, "What is that? Oh, it's Dreams. Okay, fine." Like but seriously though, it is nice that it's there for the people that know what Dreams is. It's great that it's there, especially with it being in the center. But that's because of the way that hero images work. There was no character there, so they had to put it in the center. But yeah, it's nice to see it there. But yeah,
yeah, that literally would never even want to make you look into what that is, or even question it. You will literally think, oh, that's just a placeholder, or you see a controller, so you probably think, oh, that just represent all the games that's there.
Yeah, it's God,
that is pretty bad.
God,
guys,
I really hurt you there, didn't I?
I try to, because I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea here. We all love Dreams.
Oh yeah.
More than just about anything else that is, for me personally, I've had my rough times. I've had my rough times with Dreams. But I still maintain, as I told y'all many episodes ago, and I think maybe the first episode, I think that in a 10-year span, should this all play out reasonably well, Dreams will be known as the greatest game ever made. I truly believe it. So, anybody who this may be your first time, don't think we're just throwing shade at MM.
God, yeah,
We've had
Jesus, if
MM.
this is your first
Yeah,
time, we're
that's what I'm
not
saying.
normally like this.
We've had MM on the show. We've
Yeah.
spoken with them. We're the biggest fans. We're even trying to join them. So, but maybe it's best we don't, to be honest.
I mean, seriously,
It's funny, like you join them, your next podcast is like, let's not talk about Dreams anymore. Just go
Yeah.
ratings.
Just start yelling at people. Don't you dare speak about our
they-
overlords.
They
No,
hired us just to stop the show.
but I think that's why we. But I think that's why we work, even if not an official part of MM. It's because we can be honest about how we feel with all this stuff. So it's probably better that we're not a part of it. You wouldn't be getting these spicy takes, but yeah. So other than that, tell us your future plans for your channel, like your YouTube channel, and I guess Twitch. Going forward, are you planning to stick to Dreams, Jen, or are you going to branch out a bit?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna branch out. Right now I'm in this kind of area where I'm really trying to find like that moment where Fortnite was done and I was trying to find what do I want to go to next. But I still feel like I'll still be part of Dreams just because the concept of it is just so interesting that I'm just always figuring what are they gonna do next kind of thing. Which is why I'm in that state where I don't even at this point I don't really care if multiplayer isn't here. I'm gonna wait for it. It's just gonna happen. Rather I focus on something else and I kind of just hear, hey, multiplayer is released, okay, boom. Then come back, or it's gonna be that's just how I feel it's gonna happen. I'm in that state of just kind of just letting things play the way it plays out and not being so, oh, I need it now, kind of like you know what I'm saying? Being thinking about myself or all these different things. So I'm kind of just going with the flow, letting them do whatever it is. I just like having these conversations because a lot of people I feel like a lot of people kind of understand where I'm coming from. It's this is Dream is a hobby. You kind of just do it because you love it, and if it happens, it happens and whatnot. Yeah. But it's fun to have these kind of conversations because it's these are just things we're passionate about. So for me, the only other game that because funny enough, there was 2 games that I came across that year. It was Dreams, and it was another game called Hytale. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that.
No, I'm not.
What was it? What was the name of it?
Hytale.
Hytale. No, never heard of that.
That's the thing that blows my mind because it's one of the most viewed game trailers or announcement trailers of all time for a game. But it's essentially, it's Hypixel.
Hytale.
No.
Yeah, so Hypixel is the biggest server in Minecraft, and they're making their own basically Minecraft too, and I honestly wouldn't be too surprised. This might be a reach, but I wouldn't be too surprised if they kind of got a slight inspiration from Dreams, in the concept that everything that we've made to make the game, you also have the tools for. That might just be a reach, but so. When I heard both of them had that same concept of everything we have you can use. Same thing with Dream. Everything we have you can use as well. But they're focused on the Minecraft aspect, modding, compatibilities. So it's still the same kind of you can make what you want, and that sandbox, possibilities are endless concept, and that's something that hasn't been out obviously for so many years, and I don't know when it's going to come out, but that's something that I definitely would try to kind of go towards to whenever that releases.
How are we spelling that? Because I'd love to check that out.
Hytale.
Okay, I'll check that out. I haven't heard of that before.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, but if you're not at all in the slightest bit interested in Minecraft, you're not gonna like this. Yeah. So that's just a thing about that. But something that's cool, to kind of have another thing that's kind of still somewhat that genre.
Yeah, in the same genre of creativity and stuff.
Yeah, creativity exactly. Because I do realize that I like the concept of indie games, like the concept of someone making it and then releasing it. I don't know what it is. Is it maybe that the creativity is more? Is it because I know it's like a fellow person making it? I don't know what it is, but that's something that's just amazing. That's one of the reasons why I love Dreams, and I wanted it to be. I wanted to be that thing on PC first before it, because Roblox is cool and all, but it's not the same for me. It's maybe if it was recreated from the ground up, but the concept of it just feels it doesn't feel the same to me as Dreams.
Mm.
So I've always tried to find something that can kind of replace it. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember Hytale. Hytale was that thing. The other game that I will play like this year would be like probably some survival games, like Sons of the Forest, Nightingale. When I finish with that, I'm just gonna come right back to figuring that out. You know what I mean? But the home probably will be Dreams, and hopefully if Hytale lives up to what they're trying to do, because that is gonna be the biggest game of the year unless GTA 6 comes out that year, whenever that drops. And it's because of the fact that one, they got acquired by Riot Games. Another one is that the they're trying to do basically everything. So it's also one of the most ambitious game. Survival RPG, modding, creative, animating, movies. Like they're trying to do all that into one. So it's super ambitious. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do there. But that's kind of my direction, kind of like in that same genre. And this year, just survival games and anything that kind of distracts me. And yep,
All
I'm
right.
just yeah,
Word.
yes
I
sir.
I'm just while I'm waiting for my rebirth within dreams, I'm just pretty much playing Elden Ring. that's that's
Yeah,
that's I've
yeah,
just it's like I'm obsessed with it.
right.
I truly am, because it's just the level of quality found within that game if you stick with it long enough to see the quality. It's it puts so many other things to shame. It's it's pretty insane. But I'll stop there before I trigger somebody.
Wait,
Um,
why would you trigger someone?
because
That's
whenever something gets a lot of praise, the natural reaction is kind of you know to kind of start doubting that. Well, there's no shortage of people who speak of how great Elden Ring is. And
Mhm.
it does kind of, even in people who have played it, it sparked a little bit of that, you know, all right, well, it wasn't that good. All right, calm down. Like,
Yeah, it won Game of the
Yeah.
Year for a reason.
I mean, we all know that day we all tricked y'all and we did our other podcast, and we had the conversation about God of War versus Elden Ring, and how I said it wasn't even close in my mind. But yeah, here's the reason. Uh, Let me see here. Hold on, Saku. Who is that question to?
Yeah, I was just about to reply to ask that as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He said, "How's you guys' game going? Are you working on a game currently, Jen?"
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't create anything.
Oh, so
Yeah, but the thing is, whenever multiplayer comes out, I do want to be a part of it. That's another thing as well. I want to be able to like kind of like maybe be like a director or kind of just get my involved in the game idea. I think that's that would be just interesting. I did that even a Little Planet. I was just like, hey, this would be cool, and kind of do stuff like that. So
oh,
yeah,
Ah,
as of right now, I'm kind of not. I'm just kind of like I'm just kind of like chilling back, just doing kind of whatever, kind of like how he's playing Elden Ring. I'm kind of just playing whatever I can try to
yeah.
play, and then
mm,
stay close, involved with the community jam.
To answer Saku, bro, you got to go back a few episodes. We ended up having to put Dino on hold for many various reasons. A lot of it being us learning a lot about how we're going to have to do it. So it's on hold for now, but not forgotten, being
no,
reworked.
it won't be
So
gone for forever. But yeah,
yeah.
it is coming. But for now it's on hold. But Pitch Black will be out soon though. So there's that.
Okay, wait. Saku doesn't like. You don't like Elden Ring? Sir. Sir. No, I'm just playing. No, I'm a firm believer of everything not being for everyone. Just like I don't play horror games, and when people talk about like survival games, I just immediately just start snoring. I can't be bothered. But I'm glad that they all exist. But yeah, everything doesn't work for everybody. So I understand. It is what it is.
There was one topic I think we were going to kind of talk about, but we never really talked about it. I don't know if we can talk about it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. It was kind of brought up like it was saying that someone said, "Well, dreams is a niche," and then you were like, "Well, it could be so much more." I feel like that's an interesting topic that I want to talk about as well, because I feel like dreams right now, right? I remember I made this and I got like a lot of like 50-50 on this, right? Whereas dreams is a niche and it always will be, right? Like, has the potential to really appeal to the mass audience. Would it be possible? What do you guys think about that?
Yes. I think it definitely could appeal to the mass audience, but they have to know what it
100%.
is that they're actually getting.
Which
And
comes
that's
back to the
which
whole
comes back to
marketing
the
of
marketing
dreams.
thing we're going to talk about next week.
Oh, okay.
because 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 the biggest issue with dreams is the way that they
No, you're right. We can
the
save it
way
for next one.
oh
Yeah, because you're right. I just feel like, you know what, that is true. That does tie in with marketing.
Yeah,
So that can be
100,
saved.
100%. That's the only way you're going to reach the mass audience is to market it correctly, and that has not been done.
yeah,
Not
it's
by a
like
long shot.
because they're like, how do you we're starting to get into
See, we're
next week.
starting next week's
Next
episode
week.
already.
Next week. Let me see here. Yeah, the picture you sent me or the footage didn't convince me in terms of art style either. I got some images for you, Saku. I got you. I got
Hey,
you. I
see,
drew them.
Savvy J says only multiplayer can bring more people. I couldn't disagree more.
I
That's not
could
the only
not.
way.
Yeah,
I
that's not
want
the only way.
multiplayer a lot, but that's not the only way for
That is
sure.
not the way. You market it right, and we'll get a bunch of people in here.
Yep. But we will talk about the marketing next week. Next week. We keep trying to pull it back in. This will end up being 3 hours long at least. So, but, yeah. Is there anything else you want to speak about before we end today's topics?
Yeah, that doesn't revolve around marketing at all.
No, that's it. This is super fun, man. I didn't even realize we've been here for 2 hours. Gosh, time just flies.
Oh, it certainly
Yeah.
does. Once you get on a topic, you just wait for next week. I'm going to need like 3 hours just for myself.
Yeah, yeah, him and marketing. But with that, I hope everyone's enjoyed. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the show again myself because there was so much going on in chat that
So much. It's
Yeah.
really good. Like, chat was really. They all collectively came together and like, let's be villains today. Like the whole of chat was just like, you know what? I've had a bad Friday and I'm gonna let it out here.
yeah. I mean,
Great.
maybe we'll go in. I didn't want to go into specifics, but just like I said, there's just certain comments that are being made throughout Twitter that I was just like, people are getting a little impatient. It feels like the cauldron is bubbling over. So we'll see how that goes. But next week, we're going to be joined again by Jen. Project
It's just
Genesis.
a fake, guys.
If you need to find them on YouTube, type in Project Genesis. First person that comes up. Go there, throw them a follow, subscribe, whatever, at ProGenesis on Twitter. As always, go talk to the man. Give us a quick pitch. Go ahead and pitch the game jam again.
Okay, yeah. So basically, I'm hosting a $10,000 PG Jam for creating the best action animated character for like either it's a game, it could be a test level, and the goal is to make it, obviously original in terms of your character and animations, and simply make it the most polished, the most creative, and the sky is the limit in terms of that. So that's the jam that we have, and it ends on I believe March. It's all in the Discord. The Discord that I have is or my YouTube channel. I have like a video talking about it that goes in depth into a lot of things because there's so many questions that people ask that it's all answered in Discord and stuff. So, yep.
And can you just clarify for those, like, for the people, there's going to be three winners, third, second, and first place. And how is that 10,000 split between those three winners?
Yep. So first place gets 5,000, second place gets 3,000, third place gets $2,000, and it's split upon how many people you collaborate with. You can collaborate up to 8 people, so that'll be 9 in total, including yourself. So you gotta be mindful of that. It is split evenly, and it's gonna be paid to PayPal. So, yep,
All right, guys, there you go.
yes, sir. This was so fun, man. Goodness.
Hey.
Sheesh.
I'm glad you're having fun. I always tell people, I always fear that I'm boring people.
Oh,
so,
nah.
So
I was standing the entire thing, bro. No, literally, like I couldn't even sit down. I'm over here like.
Well, it's always good when the guest has fun. We always do enjoy that.
So next week we return with Project Genesis again, where we're going to talk about how to market dreams. Now, let me ask Jen before we do this, because he may want to just keep us to himself. But should we allow other people to come in to discuss this with us? Should we have an open call room?
This is up to you. This is your podcast. Like, I have no say.
I think we should. I think we should open the lines and let people in for a segment so we can hear their takes.
That'd be cool.
You hear the specifics. He said a segment, which means he doesn't want to give y'all full reign in the podcast because he needs his 2 hours to talk. But a segment we can do. So yes, next week we're gonna approach the thing. We're gonna see Jamie's commercial.
Oh, if I have time, like PSA. If I have time,
no, you have time. Stop being a little punk. You got time.
Week. I will try my best.
Have a busy week. Cut out like 3 or 4 tea breaks, and we can get a commercial. Okay, calm down. Show up for the people. Okay. Okay.
Right, I'll do my best. All
right. Jesus Christ. You just have to beat this man to get him to do anything. Just look. Anyway. So we're going to have that next week. And we might have some other announcements next week. But we have some things that we're throwing around secretly. But other than that, get the finger out, Jamie. You've got a week. I made you a game. He ain't lying. He did make a game.
He's right. He is right. He's right. Okay. All right. I'll do it.
All right.
I'll do it. It may not be great because I only have a week, but I'll do my best.
You won't let it be seen if it's not great. We both know because we both are afflicted by that. If it doesn't live up to our standards, no one will ever see it.
All right. Okay.
But we're going to try and get this done. By we, I mean he is going to try to get this done because he's...
Are you not going to make anything? Is it all just left on to me? Or...
Yeah.
Okay then. All right. Yeah. As long as you're making something too. Okay, fine.
No. I'm not making anything. It's all up to you.
No. Oh, it's all up to me. Okay.
Because you're the guy. You're the guy, the self-proclaimed marketing guru who wishes. No. Hold on. Let me finish. That Sony would come to you with the marketing plan for dreams. This is the time to show and prove.
Okay.
And I'm going to ship it right off to Mr. Holst as soon as we're done. As soon as the episode's over, I'm going to send it to him. Right. And we're gonna try to get you in, baby.
Right. You do realize I can't create what I truly want without Sony's budget. Yeah? So I am limited to what I can do here, but I will do my best.
It doesn't take a budget. It doesn't take a budget.
To do what I would do
to show a proof of concept.
Okay.
Oh wait, Saku's did bring up a good point. I did make a trailer. What kind of trailer commercial you trying to make? The trailer I made was more like the one that Media Market made for the reveal trailer. I kind of try to make it more interesting just by adding more community and having some hype music. Have you guys seen that yet?
Ooh. Yeah, maybe we should play that next week.
Yeah, we'll play that next week.
Into the marketing stuff, so we'll play that next week on the show. That'll be good.
Yeah, that could work.
All right. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are done. But we will be back next Friday, should everything hold up, and same time, same channel. And don't forget to go and subscribe to Project Genesis. And if you missed some of the show, go check it out on YouTube. It'll be up in a bit on the Mighty Vicious channel.
And it'll also be on Spotify as well.
And
all
Spotify.
the other podcast streaming services that's available in the realm of the internet. You can find it everywhere.
Indeed. So with that, we out, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye.
Yeah.
You know what? That's the wrong thing. I went to the wrong That's the
No.
old intro. That's the old intro.
Old intro. What are you doing?
Bro,
The setting.
it tricked me. It tricked me. I got to get rid of some of these actual
Yeah, you need to get rid of all the old stuff.
yeah, it's all the old stuff. It no longer has a plan or a place here amongst the 100 plus episodes.
The end card needs to be updated as well because we're on more podcast services now.
Look, that's enough services for people to figure out. That
Yeah, I suppose.
when
Yeah,
I see
alright.
that, when I see that many, I immediately think, oh, it's on all of them. I'm not looking at each of those icons.
All right.
What? No, we're still live. I'm just saying, like, they can still hear us. So, this is a conversation we can have.
But we are on more services, and people might look at that and just go, "Well, I don't see my service there that I use."
People who are still in chat, is that if you see all those icons, do you not assume that it's just probably on the thing you do too? Like that you listen to podcasts on? Because I do. Need more? Well, don't worry. After he finishes his commercial next week,
We're gonna do that too.
he's gonna give me the actual outro with the more icons. The whole thing is just gonna be
It's
icons.
gonna fill
at
the
this
whole
point.
background of just icons. It's gonna look beautiful.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. Well, other than that, it's time to finally mute ourselves, and this is the end of the show. Love
The
you all.
end.
Thanks to everyone that came through.